Hi, welcome to the Shelley Studio and more artist trading cards from June. I know. I can only fit so many in a video without it being like enormously long. So this is day 16. Oh, and that was my birthday. And the substrate was, I think it was metal. Metallic? Paper that tells me. I should write that on the back of the ATC, shouldn't I? Let's see. Metal. Yeah. The prompt was metal. So I found everything I had that was metallic or metal and decided to go with that. So I have this on silver foil tape. I don't know what you'd call it. It's a sheet of it. Had it forever, so it's got a few dings in it, but yeah, and any kind of bump or scratch makes it all dinged up. So I guess I should like mark it all up so it looks purposeful instead of accidental. But yeah, it just stuck on great to my substrate. And then I have this copper metal, cuts easy with scissors, and I have that tool that makes it look corrugated, and I'm sure it's for paper, but I had done it on that copper before, and I just went and did it again because it had sat there for a long time. It got kind of flat, so I wanted it to have more dimension, so that's why I did that. And then these silver letters my sister found in the clearance aisle. Her and her friend were trying to figure out what to give me for my birthday. So they just went to, I don't know if it was Michael's or Hobby Lobby clearance, and just bought a bunch of random clearance art supplies. And this is one of them. I think I've used it once before. But yeah, so I rubbed that on. It's kind of a rub on. It's subtle. You can't really see it on silver. And then, let's see, I have these silver feathers. And I decided that would be fun to use one of those. There were copper ones too, but I didn't want it to clash with the copper, like to blend into the copper that I was going to use. So I went with silver, and I decided to cut out some, to get some book text and stick the feather onto the book text, so that it would contrast with the background. So it would stand out from the background, not blend in there. So it's kind of a rub-on thing, and I don't know how long I've had those either. I'm sure they came from a clearance aisle. That's usually where things come from. I'm just tearing the edge there. I like it torn, but rather than cut. I don't know, that's me. So that's going to go on there with that. And at some point, I decide that there needs to be yet another element, and I find a strip of textured scrapbook paper, and I add that to the bottom. And it's metallic rather than metal. It's just kind of a silver. And I decided a fun way to attach the copper would be to use eyelets. it worked really well. I guess if I don't do that too much, it won't hurt my hole punch. I hope. And then for a focal element, I added the little butterfly. I put some dimensional dots on it, at least on the top section, so that it would sit really well on that corrugated cover. And there we go. Don't think I'd do anything else with that. Oh, I've got to add my word. Okay, yeah, so I take a bit of that book text and I rub a word that I thought fit the metallic thing, and it's shine brightly. And I just trim that really small. I'm going to put that on the bottom. So how is everyone today? I hope you're having a good day, or you have a good day, depending on what time you watch this. Yep, showing how shiny it is. So that is shining brightly. I like that one. I love the metal stuff. It's just fun. So the next one was wallpaper, and I don't have any wallpaper samples. But I did have scrapbook paper that looked like wallpaper. So I started with that. And it kind of reminded me of the wallpaper in my grandmother's house a little bit. And the house was basically abandoned at one point, and vandals had gotten inside, and somebody had painted wings on one of the walls, and the family that owned it after my grandma passed away, that basically abandoned it, they saw a fashion photo in a major nationwide common magazine, and yeah, found out that people had been going in and taking photographs in there. So they ended up getting extra police patrols and neighbors to watch, because it was a big property, so it was kind of hard to keep an eye on. But yeah, so that's what inspired the wings on this wallpaper. Anyway, strange random story, I know. The house is gone now. It was, wow. My grandparents' parents, possibly even their grandparents, built the house. It was done out of adobe, and then a brick addition was added on the side later on. But it was really old, and yeah, it needed to come down. In fact, the city required it at one point. Sad. So I decided to add a girl in front of the wings, and I thought she kind of fit. Where are the wings supposed to sit anyways? Like when you're standing there, if you're an angel, where are your wings? Are they lower on or up higher? Couldn't decide. Now we'll just glue her on and go for it. Trying to think if I had a digital image of that house. I'm not sure I do. If I do, I'll tack it on and you'll see it. So here I decide I'm trying to make the skirt, and I'm just not. I do make a few attempts. I draw it, then I'm like, well, this kind of looks like it might go. We'll make a skirt out of washi tape. I don't know how long it is until I abandon that that idea. It wasn't 100% an odd idea. Just, yeah. I still wasn't getting a good look for this skirt. So I go a totally different route, and I have a bunch of what they call them, book plates, I think. And this one actually says art wallpaper on it, and I thought that was perfect. And so, and it went at the right angle with this girl. So I used that to cover up the bottom half where her skirt would be. And it says art wallpaper on it. I mean, how can you miss with that? And I did already have that. It was just random. I'd been searching, like a long time ago, I searched a bunch of these things for a project and printed out a whole bunch and cut them out. And yeah. So it was already available. And I decided to put some of the pink enamel dots at the bottom. Then I'm going to add my word, and that is day 17. There it is. And I did find a picture of the house. There it is. And that picture was taken long before I was born. So I have no idea what age it was. Oh, so the next prompt was cereal box. So I didn't have a cereal box, but I did have a cracker box. And they're the same. So I decided I was going to cover it in this, I think it might have been a coffee filter that like cleaned up paint. It was wrapped around an ATC I received, probably when I did an exchange with somebody. So I'm going to take that and glue it on. I decided it needed another coat because it was way too visible, and I was afraid that it might show through some of the parts on the paper that I'm going to glue down. And I apparently just went for glue stick on that one. It's always best to let it dry. Obviously, I did not let it dry. It's sticking to my scissors. But it's good to let things dry, and I usually put it under a weight, let it dry so it stays flat. And then I'm just searching for bits to put on it. I went through stuff in my Happy Mail collection. That's where I got that blue sprayed paper and the die cut of the flower. I do not have a die cutting machine. So all of my die cuts come from my Happy Mail. Usually from APG Jamie, I think. So I'm just gonna do like a little cluster of stuff that kind of the color goes. And I wanted to do a postage stamp, but I didn't want to do a real one, so I stamped that one. Like, I bought that stamp set a while ago, and I've only used a couple of them. I should like ink up the whole sheet and just stamp it all on a big sheet of book text, and then I'd have them all. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to layer things. I took this little flower pot, I think it came out of a magazine, and glued it to some cardstock. And then I have this sort of, kind of a square with rounded corners punch that I tried to punch it with. I had a hard time. It was kind of thick. And then just a random picture of people. It looks like they're looking at a movie or theater. Thought it would look better if I inked a few of the things up. I ink up the flowers and then I ink up the stamp. The stamp was way too clean. So basically just smudge all over the place on that one. I know you're going to see this much later than when I do the voiceover, but since I finished my ATCs, I haven't done any art. I need to get going again to have more to show you. I've been kind of lazy. So the words I found for this one is live every day. Because this just looks like an everyday sort of thing. I don't know. What do you think? And I'm actually going to have 4 on this one. Otherwise we're never going to get through them. Now the prompt for this one was a playing card. Well, I didn't have a playing card that I was willing to part with, like a random set. I just had one deck of cards, and it was a complete deck. I checked. I thought there were some floating around the house, maybe in a junk drawer or something, but there was not. So I decided what I would do is create a playing card. So that's what I'm going to do. I was going to stamp that heart, and then I decided, well, I need some sort of center thing, so let's do that first. And this is deli paper, and I figured I would paint on the back, and that would brighten it up a little bit. Edited out the cleaning because you didn't need to see that. I also had trouble cutting the deli paper. Even with a super sharp knife, it just kind of tore. So what I end up doing is using my paper trimmer. I put some paper underneath to support it, and then I trim it, and that worked great. So now I have to do that on all the edges to get it the right size. Trying to use as little of the paper as possible. There we go. Just going to glue that down with a glue stick. Try and get it centered. Decided those two hearts did not need to be connected, and it would be easier to stamp it this way. And there's a few spots that are sticking up, so I'm just going to use my little knife to clean those off. And they aren't right under the cube, but that's okay, right? But I thought it would be fun just to stamp this on, and I think I used a color that's too similar. It's going for pink. You really can't even see it. So I pull out a darker color. But then I think I end up just covering it up anyway. I have these little border stickers that I thought would make a great trim around the edge. Having a hard time with that. I'm not very coordinated, I guess. So I take out a pen and I make the corners look square. Filling in the little missing pieces. And I found this cute little girl. I thought she'd be good. She'll be our Queen of Hearts. That's an Arteza glitter pen. Sorry, I forgot I left this in. You probably didn't need to see me cutting out my crown. But there it is anyway. So, as always, you'll have to tell me which ones you like. I love to hear your comments. And I just have a random sticker or stamp, sticker stamp. I'm going to use it. And then I have an envelope maker, and I decided to use corner rounder. I saw somebody do this. I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner, because it has that corner rounder on the end. So, yeah, that worked great to round my corners. Wouldn't have had to buy a corner trumper. I couldn't find it at the moment I was doing these, so I used the envelope maker. And then I did do the stamp again and embossed it with white embossing powder. It has a little tinge of pink there, but there it is. I hope you liked this. If you did, leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and thank you all for watching. Have an awesome day.